You know, when you reach your 70s, nobody really prepares you for the silence that sometimes falls over your own mind. People love to talk about the physical things. They tell you your knees might start to ache when the rain is coming, or that you might need a thicker sweater in the winter, or that your eyesight might soften around the edges. We expect those things. We make peace with them. But very few people sit down and tell you the truth about what happens to your memory, and more importantly, how terrifying it can feel when it first begins to slip. I want to talk to you today about something that happens to almost all of us, something that brings a lot of secret shame. I'm 74 years old now, and I remember exactly when it started for me. I was standing in my kitchen last autumn. The sunlight was pouring in through the window. I was holding a recipe card I had used 100 times before, and suddenly, nothing. The words just looked like black ink on paper. I knew I was baking. I knew I was in my own home, but my mind felt like it was wrapped in a thick, heavy layer of cotton. I couldn't pull a single clear thought through it. I just stood there, holding the counter, feeling this cold wave of panic wash over my chest. I thought, this is it. This is the beginning of the end. And if you are listening to me right now, and you are over 65, I know you understand exactly what that cold panic feels like. You walk into a room, and the reason you went in there completely vanishes. You look at the face of a neighbor you've known for 10 years, and their name is completely gone, locked behind a door in your brain that you suddenly don't have the key for anymore. We women, we spend our entire lives remembering everything for everyone. We remember the birthdays, the doctor appointments, the favorite meals, where the winter coats are stored. So when we start forgetting, it feels like we are losing a piece of our very identity. We start hiding it. We make jokes about having a senior moment, but inside our hearts are racing. We think it's dementia. We think it's the end of our independence. But my friends, I am here to tell you that most of the time, that is simply not true. Most of the time, what you are experiencing is not the end of your mind. It is just brain fog. And brain fog is just your body's quiet way of begging for something it has run out of. Now, before I tell you what changed my life, let's get something straight between friends. I'm an old woman sharing her journey with you. I am not a person in a white coat with a medical degree on the wall. Your doctor? They are the mechanic of your miraculous body. They know how to read the gauges and the warning lights. Never hide your fears from them, and never, ever stop a medication or a treatment without shaking their hand and asking them first. Real wisdom at our age is knowing exactly when to ask the experts for help and respecting the science that keeps us going. But today, I want to talk about something beautiful and natural that you can do alongside your doctor's advice, something simple that belongs to you. When that heavy fog wouldn't lift from my mind, I started reading. I started looking into what our brains actually need to keep the lights turned on. And I discovered something so simple, so wonderfully ordinary, that I almost didn't believe it. Nature, you see, doesn't make mistakes. It provides exactly what we need, often in the most humble packages. I learned that our brains, even though they only weigh a few pounds, consume 20% of our body's energy every single day. And when an engine runs that hard for 74 years, it creates a lot of exhaust, a lot of cellular waste. If the brain doesn't have the right tools to sweep out that waste, the pathways get dirty, the signals get slow, the fog rolls in. And the two most important tools your brain uses to clear those pathways are zinc and magnesium. Now, I didn't want to take a handful of synthetic pills every morning. My stomach already has enough to deal with. I wanted real food. And that is when I found the secret hiding in plain sight, the humble pumpkin seed, or, as some folks call them, pepitas. It's almost funny when you think about it. Inside this tiny, flat green seed is the exact mineral profile your tired brain is begging for. Pumpkin seeds are one of the most concentrated natural sources of zinc on this earth. And zinc, if you want to think about it this way, is like the mail carrier of your nervous system. It helps your neurons package their messages and deliver them across the brain without getting lost. When you don't have enough zinc, the mail gets dropped. You forget the word. You forget the name. And then there is the magnesium. Oh, magnesium is a beautiful thing. It is the great relaxer. As we get older, the tiny blood vessels in our brains can get stiff and inflamed from stress, from poor sleep, from just living life. Magnesium comes in like a gentle, cooling rain. It relaxes those vessels. It opens them up so that fresh, oxygen-rich blood can wash through your brain, carrying away the fog and the fatigue. So I made a promise to myself. I didn't do anything drastic. I didn't go on some extreme diet. Young people think health is about doing something radical and exhausting for 30 days. But when you get to be our age, you learn a deeper truth. Health is about doing something gentle for 300 days. It's the quiet daily repetition that heals us. Every single morning, without fail, I take 1 tablespoon of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds. Just 1 spoonful. Sometimes, if my teeth are feeling up to it, I just chew them very slowly while I wait for my morning coffee to brew. Chewing them slowly releases the natural oils right there in your mouth. Other days, I crush them up a little and sprinkle them over a small bowl of oatmeal or yogurt. It's not a chore. It's a moment of peace. It's a small daily promise I make to my own mind. It didn't happen overnight. Magic rarely does. But after about 3 weeks of this simple morning ritual, I noticed something while I was reading the Sunday paper. I had read an entire long article about a political event, and I realized I was actually absorbing it. The cotton was gone. The heavy, sluggish feeling behind my eyes had evaporated. I could recall the names of the people in the article. Later that week, I ran into a woman from my old church, and her name, Susan, just popped into my mouth as easily as breathing. The mail carriers in my brain were doing their job again. But eating a seed is only half the battle, my friends. The other half is what you do with your thoughts. I want to share a piece of advice that took me 70 years to learn, and I hope you listen closely. The absolute worst thing you can do for your memory is panic when you forget something. When you panic, when you get frustrated and angry at yourself for forgetting why you walked into the bedroom, Your body releases a flood of stress hormones. Cortisol rushes into your bloodstream. And you know what cortisol does? It acts like a roadblock in your brain. It literally blocks your ability to retrieve memories. By being cruel to yourself, you are making the fog thicker. So, we have to change how we talk to ourselves. We have to learn softness. The next time a name escapes you, or you lose your train of thought in the middle of a sentence, I want you to stop. Don't apologize profusely. Don't call yourself stupid or say, I'm getting so old. Just smile. Take a deep breath. Give your brain a moment of grace. Say to whoever you are talking to, well, that thought just took a little vacation. It'll be back in a minute. When you remove the fear of forgetting, you remove the stress. And when the stress leaves, the memory almost always comes walking right back through the front door. We have to forgive ourselves for aging. Your brain has recorded decades of laughter, tears, grief, joy, recipes, directions, and the faces of everyone you have ever loved. It is a vast, beautiful library, and sometimes it just takes a little longer to find the right book on the shelf. That is not a disease. That is a life well lived. Keep seeing your doctors, keep taking your walks, drink your water. But tomorrow morning, maybe invite a little green seed into your routine. Nourish your mind quietly, consistently, and with love. The fog will lift, my friends. It really will. Your mind still has so many beautiful memories left to make, and so many old stories left to tell. You are not fading away. You are just learning a new way to care for yourself. Take care of yourself out there. Be gentle with your beautiful mind today. And I will see you next time.